and welcome to the Adric cast, the Doctor Who podcast, where this week we'll be discussing the Master, Daleks, Cornish mines, mythical beasts. We will, of course, be discussing the Big Finish, the stuff of legends. I'm your co-host, Janey.
I am Gregor.
How are you, Gregor?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
Very tired. Uh,
Yeah. You've had a busy weekend.
had a busy weekend. So the interesting thing about this review, or whatever the fuck it is that we're talking about the same story,
Mm-hmm.
but we have listened to it in different ways.
Mm.
Jenny here has listened to the studio version,
Yeah,
as is available on the Big Finish website, and then I listened to the live edition
you
in
did.
Cadogan Hall in London with all the cast on the microphones talking.
That's an audio book.
That's an audio. So yeah, we've experienced it in different ways. And it's
Yeah.
maybe fun to compare and talk about it like that. It'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, before we get into it, um, I'd say there's news, but there isn't really a lot of news.
Nothing has happened.
Literally nothing has happened. The biggest bit of news is the stuff of legends, which we're talking about anyway.
Mm.
I think that digital card. Did we talk about this? The digital card game.
Um, I don't. Well, we have discussed it in the past, but
I can't remember if we talked about it on the podcast, but that's out now, apparently.
oh, yay,
Yay! We've been so excited about that.
woohoo!
I was surprised to hear that that was out properly because I thought, didn't that come out like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I've
But
seen
no,
it
the cards came out a few
online
years
for
ago.
like
The
3 years. I swear.
actual game has just come out.
Right.
Like the bit
Oh
where you can
God.
play other people, like top trumpsy kind of stuff. Uh,
Yay! Wow, great. I remember literally about 2 years ago getting
uh-huh.
in an argument with the intern that was managing their online presence and being
Oh,
like, "What is this? Like, why do I want digital cards?" And they like really had to go at me. I was like, "Why would I want
very
them
passionate
digital?"
about their art, if you can
Very
call it that.
passionate, very unprofessional, very passionate.
I mean, like when it first came out, because you buy the cards, or you
Yeah,
can buy cards with real money, and I
and you don't
think you
really
can
have
sell
them.
cards with real money as well. It's like
Right.
NFTs, isn't it? 'Cause they're
Oh,
just like digital pictures. I don't really know how NFTs and that work, and every time someone's tried to explain them to me, I've fallen asleep. So, uh,
okay. That's great
but
marketing.
I just thought surely this Doctor Who card thing is just a front for drug money or something.
It does sound a lot like stocks or
Or,
something. Not that
like
I really
moving money
understand stock.
around without any
Yeah.
official knowledge.
Yeah,
No.
that's
Like,
so
you've just
true,
bought
actually.
£2 million worth of cocaine. How are you gonna pay for it? Well, we'll use the stock from the card website to move the money across.
Thankfully,
You
though,
know?
it's only digital cocaine, so it's fine.
Well, it's just just as good as real.
What a
Don't get any
rush.
of your arguments about that.
Oh, God. Oh, so that's out now then, is it?
It's been out for a while, but I don't know if we discussed it before.
I don't think
So
so. I don't know.
it's
I forget.
a funny thing. Yeah, it's a funny thing to like take the piss out of. So worth mentioning because of that.
Yeah.
Uh, in other news, the 15th Doctor's Sonic Mouse is available for pre-order on lots of different sites.
Hmm.
Uh, regular retail price, or RRP as it's abbreviated, is I think £25.
Yes.
Sounds like a fucking lot. But then the deluxe version, which is gonna be like the shiny version with the extra features, character options exclusive, which isn't available to pre-order yet, but will be soon, it's gonna be 40 quid.
Nice. Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Nice. Are you
I
going
sound
to
like
are you gonna get either of them or
I hate to say it, but yes.
oh God.
I will probably get, because even though I hate the design, I
Mm.
have to respect the toy, like, the amount of detail they
Right.
put into it and the amount
Okay.
of features that it has with, like, the bit swinging out and the emitter,
Mm.
spring-loaded emitter and all the, like, little lights scattered around,
Mm.
shit design, good toy, good replica, That's what
Yeah.
I think it looks like, so I'll
Okay.
probably buy it. Also, I like to tell character options that, Doctor Who is a brand that people will pay for, you
Yeah.
know? I don't like
Mhm.
it when they don't sell things,
No.
you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I've seen at least 3 different cases of Warriors of the Deep sets on shelves in London.
Oh, have you?
I'm like, remember when they were
They
hot
just would
exclusive?
not sell. They were there for years. They
They
were there for like
were,
2 years,
they
and they
were.
didn't go down in price for like 2 years. Like, "Please buy them." "Oh, no, we're not gonna reduce them."
To
God,
be
that was
honest,
ridiculous.
I do like the set, I do like the set, but I don't need another one, and I don't think a lot of
No.
people are fans of that story. If they
Oh, are they
just released that
not?
one
This is new
Silurian,
information to me.
Warriors of the Deep?
Yeah. Is it not highly
Of course it
regarded?
isn't.
Oh,
No.
okay. Sorry. Okay, sure. Okay,
I
no, I
mean,
hate it too.
is it well, it's like, surely you've seen, like, the criticism that story gets
Um,
on a very regular
I think
basis.
I'm just blind to it.
That is prime shit on story, like shitting
Oh,
on story.
okay,
Which
I
is
didn't okay, well, I'll look out for that.
okay for that. Personally, actually, that's maybe one we could talk about at some point, Warriors of the Deep.
Yeah.
Be interesting. But
I feel
anyway,
like
we're
we're
not
gonna
talking about
disagree a
Warriors of the Deep.
lot.
We'll see. We'll see. I have my thoughts, and they're not in tandem with everyone else's. Is that a term, in tandem? No. Did I just say some random
No,
shit
in
that doesn't make
tandem, if
sense?
something's in tandem no, that is a phrase.
Oh, thank God.
Like,
Like,
not in line with everyone else's. Is that what you
I'm
meant?
not having it. Yeah, I'm not having
Okay.
a stroke. That's great news.
No, not yet.
Anyway, not yet. Uh, anyway, you know what? I really should have probably got the program guide for the show to
Did you
flip
not get
through while we're.
it?
Oh no, I do have it. I mean, it's
Oh,
downstairs.
oh, God.
Should I go and get it before we talk
I
about the
think you
stuff alleged?
should. I think you're
Give me a minute.
bringing the experience to us, you should have it.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll get it. Ugh. Anyway, it's time to review the stuff of legend. Our first Big Finish review on the podcast.
Mhm,
Uh, Written by Robert Valentine. The story
mhm,
starring Paul McGann, India Fisher, and
mhm.
Alex McQueen as the Master. I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah. What was your sort of first impression of the story, Janie?
Well, I don't as you well know, I don't have much to compare it to, but I
This
thought
is
it was
essentially a first Big Finish, isn't
it
it?
was
Yeah.
essentially my first Big Finish. I think I enjoyed it. I've heard people say that it was a bit basic for a Big Finish. I don't know. Um, I think I mean, I've spoken to you about how I sort of struggled to keep up with it a little bit, but
Uh-huh.
I think it was a well-rounded story. I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, I think it was a good story.
It was a bit basic, but I mean, I think it was designed with the whole live thing in mind, so they were always going to go for something a little bit more
Mm,
open, a little bit
mm,
more approachable for people. And then having the Daleks in it and so on is an obvious choice as well for that.
yeah.
Not that they weren't welcome. It's cool to see Nicholas Briggs doing his Dalek voice in person,
Mm,
his ring modulator in front of him. It really is like if you ever see two people in love, Nicholas Briggs and that ring modulator.
wow. Okay.
That thing is his life. That machine, literally. But yes, it was for me it was a lot of fun. Uh It was a very good atmosphere. People were
Mm,
definitely enjoying it. A lot of applauding and cheering
mhm.
and laughter at funny, witty dialogue. Uh, so yes, definitely a good experience overall. I don't
Mm,
think this show has turned out bad in any way at all. I think
right.
it's definitely a success as a live performance. And then obviously they've released a studio version,
Mhm.
which I suppose is for people who can't go and listen at home. But they've also got the live version coming out on
Oh,
audio as
have
well.
they?
They recorded that show uh, with the intention of putting that up on the Big Finish website at some point as well. So it's going to
Interesting.
be like you could listen to three different versions of this story.
It's a lot of money.
So yeah, why
So
do you
much
think they did it?
money.
Loads of money. Uh, but yes, lots of fun. I was actually thinking it'd be interesting to guess what do you think the audience sort of cheered or applauded the most in the whole story?
Well, I would imagine the first Dalek voice would have got a big round of applause.
I think
Am
it
I
did
wrong?
get. I think it did.
Mm.
I went with a friend. He was very excited when he saw like Nicholas Briggs switching it on. He's like, "He's gonna do it! He's gonna do it!" uh, can you guess, Rouse? Because that definitely wasn't the biggest applause.
Oh,
Not counting the end applause, like just sort of like the middle, like
okay.
Mhm.
Um, the Master, because I know he's a very
Yes,
popular Master.
yes.
Okay.
People went crazy
Did
when
they?
because he pulls off a mask in the cliffhanger,
Oh,
and they had a Foley guy doing all the sound effects, and they had like a latex glove or something, and, like pulls it, and make that kind of noise.
right.
And Alex McQueen mimed the pulling off of the mask and being like, "I am the mask," and he just
Oh,
you couldn't even hear him deliver the body line because people were going
nice.
crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, that was definitely a favorite moment there. Loads of applause for that.
Mm,
And the other thing was the Driller Dalek as well,
right.
which makes a very brief cameo in the story,
Yeah,
though it takes up
very
like
brief.
50% of the cover.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, when's it coming back? Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, it has like one scene, uh, but everyone loved hearing Nicholas like he turns the thing down so you can like do a proper like
Mm,
beefy Dalek voice for it. I kind of hoped
mm.
he'd go the opposite way. I had thought he had like this big armored Dalek and it would go like, "Terminate!"
Just the tiniest voice ever.
It's the tiniest voice. That would have been funny. Uh, but yes, there was lots of moments like that in the show.
Mm,
Uh, Usually when Doctor Who fans gather up, it's either a great time or it's an incredibly awkward time. Sometimes it's both.
yeah.
There was
Right.
definitely some awkward, there was definitely some socially awkward. Like there was some just general social awkwardness through osmosis,
Mm.
by having so many Doctor Who fans together at once. It's why we went to the bars afterwards because we're like, where are they not going to go? They're going to still go.
Right. Oh,
We did try and wait outside for the cast
yes.
to come out the stage door so
Uh,
he could sign my little book and take a
oh,
selfie. But apparently they only do that during the last performance,
oh,
which was yesterday. Uh,
oh,
Originally it
that's a
was supposed to
shame.
be the one I booked. It was supposed to be the Saturday night. They were only doing the two performances of it,
Mm.
but because they sold out so quickly, they added the two Sunday performances as
Oh,
well.
that's such a shame.
Uh, None of those sold out, the Sunday ones. I don't
Oh,
know how busy they
really?
were. Hopefully they got a good bit of money for it,
Mm.
though we don't know.
We don't know.
But yes, first impressions are quite positive.
Mm.
In
It
terms of
looked
the
like good fun. It looked like really good fun.
Oh, yes.
I was sort of
Oh,
sat
yes.
at home thinking, have I made a mistake? Should I have gone? But
Mm,
alas.
there's so many Doctor Who shows, though. Well, is there so many? I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't
There's
know why
barely
you've
any that
said
I
that.
can
It's
ever there's barely anything that I can ever go to because I live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere.
right.
Uh,
I love that phrase.
I don't literally live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, but compared to the south of England, I live in the middle of bumfuck
I don't
nowhere.
think that there's much down here either, though. I
Well, you've got,
don't know where
like,
you're
at
getting
least
your information.
you've got, like, loads of, like, cities and,
Right.
motorways.
Okay. Okay, we do have lots of motorways, but never have I seen a Doctor Who show performed on one.
There's first time for everything. Don't
There
don't be
is.
don't be speaking to the
I've just gotta
Doctor
stay
promotion thing.
vigilant.
Just gotta stay vigilant. You never know, you might just catch a Jadoon or something stomping around.
No.
Maybe I'm just saying that because the proms were only a couple of weeks ago as well. Uh,
Yeah, that's true, but also that's the first one we've had in ages. So it's not like a
hmm.
regular occurrence down in the south
Though I
that there's
suppose if
just
you
Doctor Who stuff
include
everywhere.
unofficial stuff, like
Right,
Doctor Who dedicated conventions and,
right.
what's that thing they do? The Gallifrey Cabaret.
Oh, I
I th
really want to go to the Gallifrey Cabaret.
Gallifrey
I
Cabaret,
really want to go.
the sort of events, like Doctor Who events,
Mhm.
uh, I do not get to see a lot of those.
No, that's true.
No.
That is
Uh,
true.
anyway, I don't know how we got into this line of conversation, I've forgotten.
I don't
I
know. I don't
don't
know.
we just don't know. We're not sure how we're supposed to be tackling this particular review, to be
No.
honest. We could just solely focus on the story, but obviously it's not the most complicated or, layered story
Mm.
in the world. It's a good basic story. Did you like the Cornish elements, like the whole folklore thing?
You know that I love me a bit of folklore. I don't know if you do
Yeah.
know that, but I do love a bit of folklore, so I did enjoy that. Um,
Luckily, I went with a Cornish person, so you could
did you?
double check every.
Has he ever met a
But,
bucker?
um, no,
Oh
I don't think he
God,
has.
what a shame.
Uh,
What a letdown.
bucker. I thought a bucker was like one of these like Gen Z terms. Maybe it is. Maybe it's two
Right,
things.
explain. What what did you think it meant then?
See when Among Us came out, or when it
Yeah.
sort of took off during COVID, and everyone
Oh, I
was
did
being like, "Oh,
nothing else
you're."
with lockdown. That was my life.
But
I
there
had
was this thing
nothing
going
else
around
to
like, "Oh,
do.
you're a sussy bucker." I kept seeing that. And naturally, because that's such a
I
fucking
think you've made that
dreadful
up.
so
I've
no,
never
I
heard that.
definitely heard Sassy Baka,
I've never heard that.
definitely.
I
Like,
think you've made that
because when
up.
they started talking about the Baka in the show, and you had Paul McGann go around like, "Oh, the Baka," I just thought of him I thought he was just gonna turn around and be like, "Charlie, are you a sussy Baka?" You know?
No,
"I'm pretty
no,
sure I saw you vent
I
to the
think you've
electrical
dreamt
room."
that. I think you've dreamt that. I don't think
It
that's
can be
real.
very difficult to separate dreams from reality.
It
For
can,
me, it's, I'm
it
just at that
can
stage
be.
mentally.
Oh God.
But yeah,
Okay.
overall, I think it was cool, like, how they
Mm.
incorporated a bit of, Cornish stuff into the story, and they had, going around, uh,
Did
and I'm
they?
trying to think of the name of that biscuit that the master eats. Is it a pin? No, not a corn. Is it a Cornish pin wheel or something?
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I really struggle
It's
to
not a
retain
question to
information
ask.
from this. Also,
Uh,
it's not a question that you need to ask. Um,
but there is a bit where he eats a particular Cornish biscuit,
right.
while he's taunting Charlie
Yes,
and
I
Elaine the
do
Pain.
remember that.
Uh,
Elaine the Pain, brilliant.
we'll have to talk about Elaine the Pain
I
actually, but
wondered
they
how
did.
long that would take to come up.
Oh, it
We've
was
been
coming
talking
up.
for half an hour, and I
It was
expected
coming
it to
up.
come up in the first 5 minutes.
To be fair, a lot of what we've said is getting cut out because you
That's
sneezing
fair
and
enough.
stuff.
That's fair enough.
Uh, But yeah, there's this bit where he eats, like, a Cornish biscuit, and they actually had the TARDIS cookie jar,
Oh,
and they,
did
like, all passed
they?
it
Oh,
down
that's
to him
fun.
so he could get his biscuit
That's
to
fun.
deliver his line eating the biscuit, which is
Nice.
great. Um, yeah, overall, like, Alex McQueen was great in this, everyone loved,
Mm,
and it makes me feel like I wish he had something on screen.
yeah.
He's definitely taken that role and, you know,
Well,
really
and
made it his own.
Paul McGann is not, I'm sorry, brace yourself. He's not my favourite Doctor. You know this.
I'm aware of this fact.
Um, but actually seeing like the run up to this live show and Doctor Who put on their socials like a little clip of him and India like by the TARDIS console and coming out of the
Yeah,
TARDIS. And I thought actually I would watch a spin-off of them. It really
well,
excited me, even though
it
he's not my favourite. I
yeah,
thought it
well,
was really cool.
there's no Doctor that I can really slam as being terrible, to be
Oh
honest.
no.
Every Doctor's had their positives,
Apart
and
from Matt
then
Smith, yeah.
okay, well, I'll let you slam that. It's not that I hate him, it's just that I don't have the energy to defend him.
That's good enough
Um,
for
but
me.
but back to Paul McGann, it makes me feel a bit sad that he never got to do his
Yeah.
proper because seeing him play it, he loves doing it. He clearly
Mhm.
adores that role,
Yeah.
and it's really says something how all of the cast are there in their regular clothes, jeans, polo shirts, whatever, and then Paul McGann's there in his full costume,
Yeah.
which I don't think they went up to him and said, "Hey, Paul, can you wear this costume
He
for the
just
show?"
wears it everywhere now.
I think
He
it's
lives
his, isn't it? I
in
think he
it.
owns it.
Yeah, he
Like, because 'cause
lives
I'm
in
sure he
it.
wears it at conventions and stuff.
He will not take it off. They've asked him, he won't take it off.
He
Paul,
sleeps in
take
it.
a rest.
He just sleeps in this green frock coat.
Yeah, that's no, I imagine that he does.
But, yeah, I have a lot of respect for the man, you know,
Mm,
like, he clearly adores that role,
yeah.
and he plays it well, and as
Mm,
a lead, he definitely is a good lead. In that
yeah.
show, he was good, being center stage and so on.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, anyway, I've lost my train I'm so sorry, I've lost my track. I've lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you think about Paul McGann, you just get lost in a world of fantasy.
Wow. Mhm.
Wow.
I'm saying
I'm
nothing.
desperately flicking through this, oh, Lane the Pain, there we go.
Elaine the Pain.
So, the actress's name is Nisha Nayar.
Mhm.
I might have mispronounced that even though I've heard it said out loud less than 2 days ago. Nisha Nayar, maybe? But, she was quite a big role in this, sort of
Yeah.
like a semi-companion, I guess,
Yeah, I think so. I
as
think she was a
Emily
companion.
Barnfather.
Mhm.
Uh, definitely a bit fun, um,
Yeah.
sort of a bit cheeky and so on. She
Mhm.
is absolutely tiny,
Is
by the
she?
way. Yes. Like, I can tell she's tiny because I saw her standing next to Paul McGann. Paul McGann towered over her,
Right.
and I tower over Paul McGann, so
Right. Okay.
therefore she must be absolutely tiny.
Okay.
Who
Fair enough.
needs real measurements when you have Paul
No.
McGann? But yeah, she's a very physical actress as well.
Mm.
Moving a lot of hand moving and so on.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, she was good in this. One thing I I think I looked at the cast list for the download one or the studio recording. Isn't that Badland in the studio version?
Yes. Was she not there?
N- She was not there. No,
Oh, Annette, you've let yourself
come
down.
on, Annette.
Come on, Annette. No,
Come
she
on. I
was.
needed.
So she was the older Emily who was doing the narrating.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
and she also
Uh,
played the Bucker. She was the voice for the Bucker.
I
Yeah.
see. Well, yes, Annette Badland was not in the live version.
Oh, that's a
She was
shame.
Carolyn Seymour played those roles instead.
Ah,
I'm guessing it was just a matter of availability.
well, we hope.
We hope,
We hope.
because I would have been keen for her to, I could just shout, "I'm shaking my booty."
I have to say, so I didn't realise on the studio version,
Uh-huh,
you've got the two parts, and then
uh-huh.
you've got a third part, which is interviews, which was quite fun. So
Oh,
I listened
yes.
to it wasn't until I listened to the interviews that I realised that it was her.
Yeah.
Very, very good range. I didn't realise
Oh,
until
she's got
I
insane. She's played the toy maker for Big Finish now.
yes, but I haven't listened to it, so I wouldn't know.
Um, you wouldn't kn yeah.
I wouldn't
But
know.
she's played so many different things for Big Finish. She's played the
Mm.
toy maker. She's played a bunch of different baddies and, all sorts of things.
She
And she's,
obviously
of course, come
loves
back as the
Doctor
Celine.
Who. She
She
obviously
obviously
loves it.
loves the money that Doctor Who brings.
No, I just get the sense that she does really love it. Like you said, Paul loves it. I think Annette
And she
loves
talked
Doctor
about it
Who.
quite fondly in the interview.
Well, she did mention Dinner and Bondage and how that was like her favourite line.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as she said that, I was like, you and me, Annette, we're the same person. Not like I don't mean like that. I just mean
Mm.
the line was really good. It's a very good line.
Oh, okay, sure.
I mean, there's a lot on the studio version, so you've got. I assume that you don't usually have all of this at the end of an audiobook. You had the
You do
two
get
parts.
you maybe get sometimes they'll maybe do 15 minutes of interview
Oh, do they?
material.
Well, they did. So you had the two parts, and then you had 45 minutes afterwards of interviews, and then you had all of the music just on its own.
Um, the music, no. I'm not sure about that because most of my Big Finish stuff is just downloads, and
Mm,
when the credits roll or the theme tune plays, I'm like, "Right, I've finished that. I'm deleting it."
right.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah. So I do sometimes listen to interviews because sometimes they are very interesting. Like
Mm.
when they did they did one a few years ago with Tom Baker and David Tennant together in a
Yes.
multi-doctor story. I was obviously very interested in listening to the interviews with the two of them afterwards,
Oh,
which was
nice.
cool. So if there's something like that where I'm like, oh, I wonder what the actors thought of doing this, then I'll
Yeah.
listen to the interviews. But I don't often listen to them.
Mm.
There was like one they did a couple of years ago with it was a Paul McGann one, and it was sort of like a sequel to Revenge of the Cybermen, uh,
Right.
where Nicholas Briggs came in and recreated that very iconic voice that every fan knows and
Mm.
loves from Revenge of the Cybermen,
Mm.
created by like standing in a toilet cubicle with a sore throat,
Nice.
basically.
Nice.
I'm not gonna try and do it. Well, I could do it, but I'm
Go
not
on,
going
do
to.
it, do it.
I'm just trying to think what's line that they say in that story. Sort of like an, "Oh, you are mistaken." There we go.
It's actually quite good.
Thank you.
I just wasn't expecting it to be that good, sorry. That was very
Um,
good.
but I had to listen to the interviews that just because I was like, "Why did you why did you do it?" I just wanted to know why. Why, Nicholas? Why couldn't you do your normal Cyberman voice? Why did you have to bring back that for 2
Because
hours of audio?
it's the era, isn't it? You've got to.
It
You can't
wasn't the
not bring
well,
it back. Well,
it
it
was
is.
those
It's the
Cybermen.
Cyberman voice of that
It
era,
was that kind of Cyberman. That is
right?
correct. Uh, but yeah, like he's done ones where there'll be like, uh there'll be like, 1980s style ones, but the voice is
Mm.
just a sort of regular voice or,
You've actually
uh
segued beautifully into something that I wanted to rant about, which was so he did this sort of more classic Dalek voices, sort of very not very consistent. Some of them were a bit dodgy in this
in the studio version.
audiobook. Yes. Did he not do
Okay.
that in the live
So
version?
I would say it was a lot of bog standard Dalek
Right.
voices. He obviously did a beefy voice for the Driller Dalek,
Mm.
as everyone would expect. And then he did like the odd one that would talk like this, and then one that would talk like that, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, in the
Yeah.
studio version, I thought, I mean, they weren't 100%, but they were definitely closer to classic Dalek voices. There was one that was a very dodgy, very deep, sort of manic Dalek that was just,
Really?
I actually don't want to listen to that because it was just too much. But it was sort of very reminiscent of, you would always get like a dodgy voice here and there. Um,
You're talking about that bit in Destiny of the Daleks when
I'm not
they're
naming any
interrogating
bit.
Romana, and there's like the normal one, and then the one that's like reading it out. It's like
Yeah.
detector indicates truthful response.
Sort of, but it was very dark, it was very deep, very manic, very sort of fast, like, it was sort of like, "I can't keep up with
I
this
think
voice."
I think he just gets a bit bored, to be honest. He does well. I know he loves his ring modulator, but
Mm.
how much can you do like the same Dalek voice? And most of it
Well,
is just the same bloody voice. So to do like to add, he wants to add new variations,
yeah.
and I
Well,
think he
I
just
kind of like
experiments,
that. I did
you
like
know.
that, and I like that they were not modern Dalek voices.
I
Um,
think he does change the modulation a bit,
mm,
like between when he's doing the bronze new series ones and then when he's doing the classic ones. I
yeah.
did change the modulation for the paradigms when they did an audio earlier this year to make
Mm,
it like because they have a very distinct Dalek voice,
mm.
a very distinct modulation. He's never done it for the Imperials though, which have like whenever there's this audio and it's the Imperial Daleks on the cover, you want kind of like they have a distinct voice as well,
Yeah.
which he has recreated. He did it for the what were they? The Revolution Daleks.
Mm,
When they spoke, it sounded exactly like the Imperial Daleks,
right.
but he doesn't do that for the audio for when he's doing the
Oh,
Imperial
doesn't he? Oh,
Daleks.
that's a shame. Because that's my favourite Dalek voice. Because
I
it's my
can't.
favourite Dalek.
Yeah.
Um, I can tell you don't agree with me, but I'm moving on.
No, I was gonna be like, do you notice a difference in the Dalek voices, or are you just like, okay, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I rant on about
Um,
the different Daleks.
well, I definitely noticed um in oh, you just said it, Chibnall.
Revolution.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that that was an Imperial voice. Was the second
Hmm.
it started talking, I was like, oh my god, suddenly I like these Daleks that I've hated for the entire episode just because of that voice. So,
Okay.
yeah, I noticed that straight away. But the one thing that I really don't like in not just the audio, but also just in Doctor Who in general, is when
Hmm.
you bring back these classic um aliens, villains, monsters, whatever.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
they did it with this audio, and they've done it
Hmm.
in the past with like the Doctor Fools and everything, with the Cybermen having being
Oh yeah.
older Cybermen but having new sound effects. And I
Well, they
get
have
that,
the same voice, didn't they?
well, they did, but they also stomped everywhere, and they
Oh, they
also
did
made
stomp.
like
Yeah, you're right.
rickety sort of metal
And the
noises whenever
gun
they
noise
moved,
was from Spearhead from
which
Space for some
I
reason.
hate. I hate it when
Hmm.
they, because it's just like, just let them be classic. So
Yeah.
I get that it probably works very well in audio to hear when
Hmm.
a Dalek is moving and to hear when it's moving its head and its eyes and everything.
Oh yeah.
But that's a classic Dalek. I don't want to hear
Did they
like
do
the
that? Just
buzzing when it moves along, you know? They had like the bzzz when it's like moving along, and like when the head moves.
they didn't do it in the live version. I know they do tend to do that for all of the audios. They didn't do it in the
Mm,
live version. I guess they just couldn't be arsed to
yeah, that's
have.
fair.
Uh, I'm actually I do agree with you quite strongly
Mm,
because back when I used to make stop motion
mm,
Big Finish Doctor Who videos of
right.
Daleks, um, it was a pain if it was, like, in sort of newer one, if they had, like, the sound effects of, like, the bzzzt
Mm.
for the movements, it was a pain 'cause you'd have to try and match up
Yeah.
the sound with the movement. Well, if it was an older Big Finish, they didn't do that until later on, so the older Big Finish audios, you had more freedom to move them.
They're pure. Yeah.
They're pure.
I really don't like it when you mix them because when
Mhm,
you're watching classic Doctor Who episodes, they don't make those noises. So when it's supposed to be a Dalek from the 70s, why is
mhm,
it buzzing when it moves down a corridor? It
mhm.
really annoys me.
The only noises they should really make is a little squeak if they've forgotten to put the WD-40 on the casters.
But do you know what I mean? Like, I just hate it so much. I was just listening
Yeah,
like, "Why is it making a noise? It's not supposed to make a
yeah,
noise."
yeah.
So I hated that.
I get that, and just yeah, if you do ever get into more Big Finish, just to be aware, if you listen to, like, a Hartley or a Dalek story,
Mm.
yes, there will be the buzzing
Well,
noise,
then
you know.
I shan't listen to any more Big Finishes then. Problem solved.
Well, the Bronze Dalek stories, they'll do
Well,
it
I
and that's
guess,
allowed,
yeah, okay, I guess
you
I could
know.
listen to them.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the
Like,
only one who feels this way, though. It just annoys me. Just
and,
let them be.
Cyberman-wise, they don't
Mm.
do the cyber stomping noise
Oh, thank God for
for
that.
them, but they do have a particular, like, type of stomp that they do, which
Right.
they've used through all of, like that's something that they've used since the earliest Big Finish stories. They have, like,
Mm.
a "Voop oof, voop oof, voop oof" kinda noise. It's not as loud and clunk, but it's yeah, there is a walking noise that they have.
Right.
Uh,
Interesting.
this is it's just nerdy shit about
Mm.
Doctor Who noises.
It
That
just
should be
really
the
annoys me.
that should be the description on the channel for this episode. Just nerdy shit about Doctor Who
Nerdy
noises.
chat.
Something that you may approve
Mm.
of
I
is the
don't know.
sound effects for inside the TARDIS, are the TV movie sound effects.
Oh, yes. Are they?
Yes,
Yes.
which is good and proper. Uh, it's good and proper.
Okay.
I'm really reluctant to talk about the TARDIS after last week's episode, well, not last week, the
Oh
last
my
episode,
god.
because we have talked about the TARDIS so much. Uh, yes. That was a good not long segment about noises of Daleks. I can't remember how we got into that. Like, what we were originally talking about.
We were talking about
In that Badlands? No,
I don't know, I can't remember now.
I don't
Sorry,
remember.
my rant has taken us in a different direction.
It has. It's dominated the
I
whole.
think it was
We were
worth it
talking about
though.
live events. Yes,
Yes.
sure. We're talking about live events. And my overall feelings towards live events.
Mm.
I've said I like them, but also I've slagged them off for being full of neckbeards. Uh, there is a good variety of people, to be fair. I saw all sorts of folks
All
there.
sorts of
Uh,
folk.
all kinds of folk.
God.
Uh, so yeah, it's a nice reminder to it's a nice reminder that Doctor Who is for everyone,
Yes.
except for Ian Levine, apparently.
Are you cutting that bit out or are you keeping it
I
in?
really like, we're not going to talk about Ian Levine. No, just Doctor Who's for
Oh
everyone except Ian Levine.
god.
I probably will cut that out.
I think like you'd get sued if you did. Oh
Do you
god.
really think you would listen to a podcast that's named after?
No, I don't think he would, but I feel like that one segment would spread like wildfire, and then he would get hold of it, and then he would just sue the living daylights out of you.
What if we deleted it all, and then he would still get a copy, but you'd have to sit in it and pretend he doesn't have it, like he does with the missing episodes of Doctor Who.
Oh god. God.
I'm just looking through this program guide just to help me try and get something to talk about. There's an advertisement for Count Binface at the back.
Is there actually?
He's doing a show. Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's
Okay.
sold out in London, he hasn't sold out anywhere else yet.
Well,
I doubt he's gonna sell out of anywhere that isn't the south of England because he
is
hasn't
he
really
going
got much
to Bonnie
prominence out of here.
Scotland?
Did you just do a Scottish
No,
accent?
I didn't. That wasn't even a good one. I can do a good
It
Scottish
it
accent.
sounded more like you were in the middle of drinking water. It's like, "As you go into Scotland."
I could do I feel like I'm good at shaping the words. So I can be like, I'm from
It's
Edinburgh.
possible.
Edinburgh,
Alright,
just down the
Edinburgh,
road. Edinburgh.
it's possible, like, there's this thing about apparently Americans can't do Scottish accents. They can,
Right.
if you put enough effort in,
Okay.
or if they marry a Scottish person. Usually if an American marries a Scottish person, they'll get it. They'll get it
I'm
down to
better
a
in
T.
I'm better in an Irish accent because it is in my blood. So I feel like you're just better at it then if you want to
I
put that.
can't do the Irish because I just haven't been around that place enough.
Haven't been to Ireland?
I'm in
Hmm.
Ireland. I could do
It's
Welsh.
amazing. It's fantastic.
I feel fantastic in
It's
Ireland.
fantastic in
That's
Ireland.
good to hear, that's good to hear.
That was
Better
quite
fucking
good. That
better
was
be
quite
fucking
good.
fantastic. Aye.
It was fucking fantastic in Ireland.
Oh,
It's amazing.
that's is that Northern Ireland?
So that is not. So my family are from Republic
They're
of.
from proper Ireland.
I used to, yeah, they're from the real one. I used to work with this guy called Tony, who was from Northern Ireland, and he always just used to walk around the salon, being like, "Oh, it's fantastic! Oh, it's amazing! What a star! Fantastic!" So I just picked it up. Yeah.
My
Anyway,
hairdresser's from Northern Ireland, so he
is
does when he
he
talks, yeah,
nice?
Ed, uh, he's also very gay as well.
Oh, so was mine.
So he's probably got a similar voice to Tony.
Probably. I think that's how it works.
That's how it works.
Northern Ireland gay, same person, mate. I think that's how it
Something
works.
I'm keeping this in the podcast as well. Just talking. I could do Welsh.
Okay, go on then.
I can do, um, because this is when I worked in a hotel, I started there. I'm not going to tell the story, but I can
Right.
do like this. I can do this Welsh voice, and over that kind of.
Okay. That's
Is that
not
all right?
bad. It's
It's not
better than
bad.
I can do, so.
Better than you could do. Okay, okay. Bloody Torchwood.
I feel like we could, if you master that Welsh accent, we could do an episode where Russell T Davis comes on, and we could just
You,
say we've got
the bit
Russell
where
T
he's
Davis
just,
on, but
oh,
it
oh
isn't
my
him.
goodness, this is absolutely wonderful,
Oh my
absolutely
god,
brilliant to
let's
be on.
do that. And then he'll be like, "Wait, what the fuck? I wasn't on a podcast." And we'll be
You
like, "Are
think,
you sure?"
did you drug me so I forget? I was like, "Ah, nah, we wouldn't need to drug you to forget the Adric cast." Everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Get
We
him
didn't
on.
need to drug you. You just fell asleep while we were
I was kinda
recording.
hoping he'd be at the show. I
Who,
thought,
me?
"That's not gonna go
Oh,
go
Russell
well."
T Davis.
Seems like the sort of thing he'd do, sort of creep in and be like, "Oh,
Maybe he was
I'm
in
gonna
the
sit right at
Dalek.
the very end, right in the Dalek."
He was in the Dalek, I reckon.
Just saying.
Just not moving, just sitting there.
The man's a colossal. He's a colossus.
Oh,
Sorry, the man's a
that's
colossus,
nice.
he's huge.
Oh, that's nice. He speaks
He's
very
literally
highly
he's
of you
like
as well.
7'2" or something.
Right.
Have you
Right.
never seen, like, when he went with Graham Norton once, didn't he? And,
Right.
they had him on with, like, Helen Bonham Carter and a bunch
Right.
of really fairly shortly statured people
Mm.
on the sofa, and then he's just towering through.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
Well, I
anyway,
haven't seen it, but I will go and seek it out now.
just go and look on YouTube, Rusty Davis,
Yeah.
Graham Norton, he's just ginormous, man. Not that there's anything wrong with being a tall
No.
man. Usually we take piss of people being short.
Do we take the piss out of people being short?
As a society,
Do
yes.
okay, okay.
Yes, I'm
Gonna
sorry, but,
say.
if you don't take the piss, you know, you do point it out. You know, if there's a really friendly short guy, you call him a short king, you know?
Sounded so unnatural coming out of your mouth.
Yeah.
There's a
I don't
really short guy.
think
You
that's
call
how
him a short king.
you call him a short king. Like Paul
Oh,
McGanny's the
God.
short king.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, I mean, he's
Sorry,
short
Paul.
and he's a king, so
Okay. Well, there we go then.
Sylvester McCoy's a short king.
Sylvester McCoy is a short
Shooty's
king.
short.
Is
Shooty's short.
he?
Yeah,
Oh.
he's a short king. So
Hmm.
should just do a whole episode about
I
who
think
we think is
so.
the shortest in
I think
Doctor Who.
so. I imagine
And then we
David
get to
Banks
Katie
being
Manning. That's
very
just
tall.
well, David Banks is like 6'10"
Oh,
or
is that
something,
it?
6'12".
Oh, six foot
No,
10. No, he cannot be 6'10".
they
He
say
could
it,
be six foot
he
10.
could be.
No, he couldn't be. No. Do you realise how tall that is? I let
Yes,
it go earlier when you said Rusty Davis was 7 foot. He's
that was
definitely
an
not.
emphasis. Russell Davis isn't 7 foot,
David
but
Banks is not 6'10".
I have met a man who is over 8 foot tall, and that's not a lie.
No,
There are tall people
surely
in this world.
not.
Yes,
Who
yes, I
was
have.
it?
It was he worked in a fancy hotel in Abu Dhabi.
Oh,
He was like I don't think he was a chauffeur, but he was like kind of like the person by the door who's like, "Can I take your bags?"
right,
But
like a little
people were just
footman.
taking pictures with him like he was a tourist attraction, you know?
Right. Maybe he
And
was.
I might have a picture somewhere, but I'm not gonna dig it
God.
out.
If you're
But yeah,
watching the YouTube
he was
version, we will have a picture.
he was yeah, he was at least I'm 6 foot on the dot, and he was more than 2 foot taller than me, so
God.
he was he gotta be 8 foot.
God.
I don't think he would have been the world's tallest man, but he must be, like, on the list.
Must be there somewhere.
Let me just look up who is the world's tallest man. I think the world's tallest man was in Doctor Who, Fisher King, or was that just Britain's
Oh.
tallest man?
Was he the tallest man?
At the moment, the world's tallest man is 8'2".
Oh.
Okay, so maybe he was, like, 7'11" or something, I don't fucking know.
It's going down and down.
But he was enormous. Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
So I'm
That's
just looking up.
big.
David Banks is 1 meter 91. I don't know what
Sex
that
with
is
David
in
Banks.
feet.
We're gonna
I do love
You join
David
us back in the
Banks.
Adric cast where we
I
are
do
now
love
talking about
David
the feet of
Banks.
David Banks.
Well, David Banks did kill our Lord and Saviour. Yeah, David Banks
He
is
didn't
six
do
foot
it
three.
directly.
He's 6'3".
Okay, so he's a little bit
Oh,
taller than
oh,
me.
David Banks is 6'10". No, he's not.
I just googled David Banks as well, and the first picture is not of David Banks.
Wait,
It's of someone who isn't David Banks.
wait, which picture are you looking? Oh, at the guy with the mustardy yellow
Yeah.
shirt.
No,
Yeah,
it's a
that's
guy with a
not.
mustache.
Yeah, same guy. He's not David Banks. But the one that I'm
That's
looking up is him because it's on TARDIS fandom wiki, whatever it's called.
good
Anyway,
old David Banks. It's a
anyway.
shame he wasn't in this. If he was on stage being the cyber
Mm.
leader, that would people would faint.
Oh, bring him back. Bring
Well,
him back.
he
How
did an
old is
audio
he
not long
now?
ago.
Did he?
He did that Trials of a Time Lord with Colin Baker.
What is that all about? Because have we not seen the Trials of a Time Lord?
So it's time, right? We're finished with the stuff of legend. It's good.
Okay,
Moving on.
moving on, guys. Moving
We might
on.
as well. We're just going soft on it. Like we've talked about it, and we might as well just move on
I
to something.
think so. I think so. We
Uh,
haven't discussed any of the plot, but I
well,
think
it was
so.
the basic plot. It was Daleks are after a big powerful thing. The Master's also after a big powerful thing. Separately, they kind of end up working together a little bit, but not so much, and they'll get defeated by the Doctor in the end.
Yeah,
Charlie
which is like
climbs inside a Dalek at one point,
your basic Doctor Who story, really.
literally taking one of the most common beats from any Dalek story, the
Oh,
Trojan
I did
Dalek
have
thing.
one thing to ask. As someone who hasn't done Big Finish before, I was very
Yeah.
surprised, seeing as they've worked in the Doctor Who Big Finish thing for so long, very surprised to learn that Charlie Pollard hasn't met the Master before.
You know what?
Because
Yeah, I
when
don't
she
think
was
she
like,
has.
who are you?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm the master." I was like, "Is she not gonna react and be like, 'Oh my god, it's the master
No, she
again?'"
definitely
'Cause she's
hasn't
been on
met
it for, like, 25
McQueen.
years.
She definitely hadn't met McQueen,
But when
Alex
he was
McQueen's
like,
master.
"Oh, I'm the master," she was like, "Oh, who's the master?" Like,
Mm.
I was really surprised
Yeah,
by
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, you're
Kills
right. She hasn't.
face.
Because like she was a lot of the Charlie Pollard stuff's like the early Paul McGann finish. So
Right.
year 2000 to 2005 kind of
When
era
he's still stuck in the Eye of Harmony. Yeah.
when he was still stuck in the Eye of Harmony,
God.
just vibing. Um, well, at that point in Big
Mm,
Finish, Anthony Ainley was still around. And naturally, when they were wanting to do
yes.
the Master, they were wanting him to come
Right.
and do it. And but Anthony Ainley was like, "I want more money," and they were like, "Oh,
Mm,
we don't want to pay you too much money, because you're not the lead."
right. Fair enough. That is fair.
Yeah, I think he was wanting more than the Doctors, and
Is
like,
that
"We
why
can't
he
pay you
wasn't in the
more."
movie, or did they just want someone else for the movie?
I think they just wanted someone else for the
Oh,
movie.
okay.
But for Big Finish, there was sort of disputes, and then they thought, "Why don't we just ask Jeffrey Beavers to do it?" Even though he was only on screen for like 5 minutes as the
Yes.
Master, and as a result, he is the only surviving classic Master. No, it's not as a result.
God, what way to
That
say
makes it
it?
sound like they killed
What
Anthony
way to
Ainley.
say it? Like they've been
I won't even
hunting them
say that again.
down.
That's why Krista Eccleston's done Big Finish. He
It's
didn't
like,
have a right.
so this, because I can't quite remember, what was the
Mhm.
Doctor's reaction to seeing the Master this time then?
Well, he works out that it's the Master when there's, like, Professor what's his name,
Yes.
isn't it? It's like, "Oh, wait, that word means" oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, for God's sake. I love that though when they have that kinda, like, intro for him with the name and the Doctor's oh, for God's
Mm.
he just works out the clue, he's like, "Not him again." Uh, but yeah, that's his sort of reaction as a
But he's not like, "Whoa, it's the McQueen Master that I've never met
"Oh
before.
my god, it's that McQueen variant of
It's
the
that
Master I've
one
never
that I've
seen
never met
before."
before, but I will have
He is
lots of adventures
so
with." Ooh.
bold. He does make a bold joke to the
Does
Master in
he?
this.
I
I
don't
I I mean,
remember.
I'm yeah, he does. He definitely like, there's a bit where he describes, "Oh, this is just a sort of base that a crazy, bold megalomaniac would build," or something like that, he says. And the Master has, like, next to no reaction to it. He's like, "Yeah, I should have kept that wig
Okay.
on."
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know. When Missy came onto the scene, there was a little bit of fuss about a female Master. I'm like, "Well, we've had a bald Master, so, the doors are open."
They very much go hand in hand. Bald master, female master, sure. Same thing. Get over yourself.
Uh,
Oh
I could
god.
picture that being a subject of discourse. So
Can you
we can't. What if we end up with a bald Doctor one day? What people can think?
well we've had a bald Matt Smith and that was horrifying. I don't think they'll ever go
That
back to
was
that.
cursed. That was
That was
very cursed.
horrible.
And they even say it in the episode, like, "I was like, put that wig back on because
Yeah.
I need to sleep tonight. I need to forget
Oh, it
that
was
so I can sleep
horrid.
tonight."
It's no offense to Matt Smith, but he cannot pull it off. I'm sorry.
So he could pull it off. You're talking
Mm.
about his hair.
Sure. Wow, well done. Good job. Oh god.
Like, all right, gone off topic again. You know what? I don't think we can. If people ask, "Oh,
I
can you review
think
Big Finish stories?" I don't know if we can because we can barely fucking concentrate on talking about this. I mean, part of it is that I haven't taken notes as well, to be fair,
no, nor have I.
because
Um,
I couldn't sit there in the place with a
it would have been
notepad.
very rude. Very rude of
It
you to
would have
sit
been
there taking
they what
notes.
if they glimpsed me from the stage like, "Is that person writing a review? Am I gonna be getting slagged off in The Guardian?" You know? That kind of thing.
Oh god.
Uh-huh. But yeah, overall, I think it was good. I've
I
said that a
think
lot
it
of
was good.
times. I think
I
we should give it
enjoyed
a
it.
rating out of 10.
Okay.
Uh, Obviously, it's gonna be really difficult to do that when not only do we have our own opinions, but we also experience the story in completely different ways.
And also it's the only one I've ever listened to.
How about how about I give it a rating as a show, and then
Mm.
how about we give it separate ratings because it's different
Okay.
things.
Yeah, okay.
I can hear the relief and joy in your voice.
I don't
Oh,
have to
thank God.
argue this week. Yay!
Because as a show, it was great fun, and
Mhm.
they had audience interaction. They got everyone to pretend to be Robomen, which they recorded, which they're gonna incorporate
Oh,
into
that's
the
fun.
live version when it comes out. So it's a 10 out of 10 as a live event.
Okay.
Lots of fun for all the
Mhm.
family and all the Whovians. As a Doctor Who audiobook, though, where does it stand? As an
Well,
adventure?
oh, I feel like there's such a weight on my shoulders. Um, I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
I'm not used to listening to audiobooks, so I did struggle a little bit to sort of imagine what was going on or to
Yes.
picture what was going on.
Uh-huh.
Um, I, as much as I would have liked to go to the live version, I think for me, I would prefer the studio. I don't like audience interaction. I just want to watch the story, listen to the story. You know, I don't want to be part of the story. Um, so I I enjoyed that aspect of
Mhm.
like sort of neat, polished, like they've they've recorded it weeks ago, it's been polished up and everything.
Yeah.
Um I think oh god, this is horrible. I
Now
think it
you're
was a
liking the unanimous
what
unanimous scores.
see, I would say it's a 10, but I don't have anything to compare it to because I've not listened to one
That's
before.
true. That's true, actually. Uh,
I would say, right, I'll do is I'll rate it compared to what my expectations were.
yeah.
And my expectation was well, I think it's a 10 compared to what I was expecting. I think it's
Actually,
slightly better than what I was expecting it to be because I didn't know what
mhm,
I was sort of going into. So
mhm.
I'm gonna rate it a 10 as well.
There we go. Okay.
God.
Oh wait, no. If it's 10 out of 10 on both, then I should really do this, shouldn't I? There we go.
Nice.
Star of
Lovely.
episodic excellence,
That is lovely.
cradled
Every
in the
time.
hands of Paul McGann.
Lovely.
Biblical.
Yeah, okay.
Like this,
Oh.
yeah. At least he's got one because he only has one TV story, and
Yeah.
let's be frank, it was
And
not
that's
gonna get
not
that.
good. That's not the best. He's not getting a 10 for that. I'm sorry, Paul. It's not
It's
gonna
us,
happen.
Paul. He's got one. Um, anyway, with that ranking, we can finally bring relief to everyone by saying this podcast is pretty
It's
much finished. Next time on the Adric cast, can tell you what we're going to do next time because I'm looking through. I think we're going to be talking about that lovely book,
yes.
Ruby Red by
Mhm.
Georgia Cook. So we're going back to the 15th Doctor.
Yep.
Yippee! Yay! 15th Doctor and Ruby. Um, and a nice wave of nostalgia from reviewing these adventure books, which we have got enough to compare it to because we grew up on these kind of books.
Mhm.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. It'll also be very short because at the start of the year, we'll be like, what do you think of it? Oh, I can't read. So at the end,
Wait, you talking about me?
me.
Oh, okay.
It was me. It was me. I was thinking of.
Okay. I mean, I haven't read it yet, so
You haven't read it yet?
I feel like
You
every episode you're like, "Have you read it yet?" And I'm like, "No, not yet."
What's forgetting? You're like, "No, I haven't read."
But
I
I'm
read the back
trying
one
I'm
part.
trying to keep it fresh in my mind.
I've almost finished Sting of the Icons now, Janie. Oh,
I'm trying to
wait,
keep it
hold on.
fresh in my mind so that I
We're
can
talking
read
about
it the
things that shouldn't be
weekend
on the podcast.
before.
We're talking about things that shouldn't be on the podcast. Okay,
Anyway,
right, that's
next
the podcast
episode,
done. Next episode.
it's Ruby Red, if I
Sorry
read
for the
it.
awkward cut at the end. I just had to cut out a bit that we didn't want to put in the podcast. Fuck off. Go away. Come back in 2 weeks.
God.
You gonna say bye, Janie?
No, not this week.
I'm sure they'll be crawling back to us, begging for more after that
They're all
treatment.
asleep. They're all asleep.
Oh, they'll all be all asleep, but that's true.
Shh.
Good night.